Diphtheria. Diphtheria is a bacterial infection. It is easily spread for person-to-person contact. It is airborne and can be passed on through saliva. It can be passed on through means of coughing and sneezing. The most common ports of entry for the bacteria to enter your body is through the tonsils, nose, and throat. As diphtheria is a bacterial disease, there is no genetic link. However, there is a link between diphtheria and autoimmune diseases. Diphtheria is more easily contracted when a child or adult does not get vaccinated. And recent research has found that although people with autoimmune diseases are at a higher risk of contracting diphtheria, they have a lower vaccine coverage. Kids under 5 and adults over 60 are more likely to contract this disease. There are numerous symptoms associated with this disease, and they start to appear 2 to 5 days after exposure to the bacterium. The symptoms begin with a sore throat and fever. With severe cases, a gray patch may form in the throat which blocks the airways. In addition, lymph nodes may become swollen as well. The bacteria attaches itself to the lining of the respiratory system, and a toxin is produced which destroys all of the healthy tissues. In addition, the toxins can get into the bloodstream and cause damage to the heart, nerves, and kidney. The disease is rapidly progressing, with myocarditis appearing 10 to 14 days after the start of the infection, paralysis of the soft palate after the 3rd week of illness, and paralysis of the eyes, muscles, and limbs and diaphragm after the 5th week of illness. The paralysis of the diaphragm may cause pneumonia and respiratory failure. The main diagnostic tests used for diphtheria consist of culturing a swab sample of the infected area. If diphtheria is detected, the bacilli are checked to see whether or not they are toxin-producing. A prominent physical sign used to diagnose diphtheria is a thick gray membrane which coats the throat and tonsil. 5 to 10% of all people with diphtheria die each year. This mortality rate increases to 20% in people who present risk factors such as being younger than 5 or older than 60. After receiving the vaccine, individuals will have a higher chance of surviving and significantly decrease their chance of getting diphtheria. In order to treat diphtheria, treatment must start as soon as possible. Treatment for diphtheria has 2 components: an antitoxin to neutralize the toxin released by bacteria, and antibiotics, most commonly benzylpenicillin, to eradicate the bacteria and stop it from spreading. In 1921, there were 206,000 cases of diphtheria recorded. As the 1920s went on, there was a dramatic decrease in diphtheria cases due to the use of vaccinations. Between 2004 and 2017, there were only 2 reported cases of diphtheria in the United States. Diphtheria is most commonly found in sub-Saharan Africa, India, and Indonesia. The areas where diphtheria is most commonly spread are those areas where vaccinations are not common. It is rare that in the developed country due to the widespread vaccination. AR0 value is a disease's basic reproductive ratio. In other words, the number of cases one case generates on average over the course of an infectious period in an uninfected population. The R0 value for diphtheria is 6 to 7, and the incubation period is 2 to 5 days. About a year ago in Yemen, a campaign was made by the World Health Organization and UNICEF for 2.7 million children to receive vaccination for diphtheria. Similarly, research is currently being done that has found a bacterial strain in diphtheria which is found in hedgehogs. Although the threat of diphtheria is no longer prevalent in the United States, we must continue to get vaccinated to avoid the epidemic in the future. Stay educated, get vaccinated.